What starts as a simple trip to the airport quickly spirals into a shocking confrontation that no one saw coming. Lisa Carter, a successful black professional, is just trying to retrieve her luggage when suddenly, she's accused of theft by Karen Johnson, a woman who knows exactly how to manipulate the system. In a matter of seconds, Lisa finds herself at the center of a public spectacle, falsely accused, humiliated, and doubted. Security sides with Karen. The crowd watches in silence. And Lisa is left wondering, will the truth even matter? How far will Karen go to escape the consequences of her lies? And will Lisa finally get the justice she deserves? Stay tuned to find out, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story like this. The baggage claim area of JFK International Airport buzzed with movement. Passengers gathered around the conveyor belts, eyes scanning for their belongings. Among them was Lisa Carter, an African-American woman in a tailored business suit, her curls neatly styled. She had just stepped off a red-eye flight from Los Angeles and was eager to grab her luggage and leave. As the conveyor belt moved, she spotted her suitcase, a red, hard-shell case with a leather tag. She stepped forward, reached for the handle. Thief. The word sliced through the air like a siren. Lisa froze. The entire room seemed to pause, turning toward the source of the commotion. A middle-aged white woman, platinum blonde hair in a stiff bob, stormed toward her with wild eyes. "That's my suitcase," the woman shrieked, her voice shrill with indignation. "You stole it." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Lisa blinked, stunned. "Excuse me?" "Drop it right now," the woman barked, stepping dangerously close. "I saw you take it." "Security." Lisa exhaled, trying to remain calm. "Ma'am, this is my suitcase. I picked it up from the belt." "Liar." The woman turned to a nearby airport employee, jabbing a manicured finger at Lisa. "Call security. She's trying to walk away with my things." Lisa's patience snapped. "All right, enough. You need to calm down. I don't know who you are, but I know this is my bag." The woman's expression twisted into something venomous. "Oh, I see what's happening," she said, voice dripping with condescension. "You people always play the victim." Lisa stiffened. The word sent a cold spike down her spine. Before she could respond, a security officer approached. "What's the problem here?" Lisa turned to him, grateful for intervention, until she saw the way his eyes skimmed over Karen with concern, then landed on her with suspicion. "She stole my luggage," Karen announced, pointing at Lisa. The officer's posture shifted. He stepped toward Lisa. "Ma'am, I need to check that bag." Lisa's jaw clenched. "Are you serious? I just told you this is mine." "If you have nothing to hide, let me take a look inside," the officer said. A familiar pit of frustration coiled in Lisa's stomach. Of course. No matter what she said, no matter how outrageous the accusation, Karen had the benefit of the doubt. Lisa gritted her teeth and stepped back, letting the officer unzip the bag. The tension in the room thickened. The officer flipped open the suitcase. Inside, neatly folded clothes, a laptop bag, and a toiletry case sat in perfect order. On top lay a passport. Lisa's. A stunned silence followed. Lisa folded her arms. "Well?" Karen's face went pale. Her mouth opened and closed, grasping for words. The officer cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable. "Ma'am," he addressed Karen, "this doesn't appear to be your bag." The crowd whispered. Some shook their heads. Others pulled out their phones, recording. Karen's jaw clenched. "This is a setup," she spat. "She planted her stuff in there." Lisa let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "Really? You expect anyone to believe that?" Karen turned bright red. "I don't care what's inside. That's my bag." The security officer sighed, clearly exhausted. "Ma'am, if this isn't your suitcase, I need you to step aside. I demand to see the cameras." Karen shrieked. "I want proof." Lisa arched a brow. "Oh, you'll get proof all right." She turned to the security officer. "Let's check the footage." "I'll wait." Karen hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. The officer nodded. "I'll radio the surveillance team now." As he stepped away, the tension thickened. The murmurs grew louder. Karen folded her arms tightly, her breathing shallow. Lisa simply watched. She wasn't worried, because the truth was about to destroy Karen's entire world. Lisa stood firm, arms crossed, as the security officer radioed for surveillance footage. The baggage claim area, once bustling, had gone eerily silent. Dozens of passengers watched, some discreetly filming. The weight of their gazes pressed down on Karen, whose confidence wavered for the first time. But then, as if flicking a switch, she straightened her posture, lifted her chin, and forced a smug smile. "Fine," Karen said, smoothing her blouse. "Let's see what your precious cameras have to say." Lisa narrowed her eyes. "You seem awfully confident for someone who's about to be proven wrong." Karen scoffed. "Oh, honey, you have no idea how the real world works, do you?" The remark sent a fresh wave of irritation through Lisa. Before she could respond, the officer's radio crackled. "Surveillance confirms we have footage of the baggage claim area. Dispatching it now." Lisa exhaled slowly. Finally, a second officer arrived, holding a tablet. "Got it," he announced. "Pulling it up now." Everyone leaned in as the screen flickered to life. The footage showed the baggage carousel, time-stamped just 15 minutes earlier. Lisa's eyes locked onto the screen, watching her own figure step up to the conveyor belt, scanning for her luggage. Then, there she was. Karen. Lisa clenched her fists. In the footage, Karen wasn't standing near the carousel when Lisa took her suitcase. In fact, Karen hadn't even looked at the luggage belt yet. Instead, she had been talking on her phone, arms folded, waiting a good 3 feet away. And then, the damning moment, Karen stepped forward, glanced at Lisa, and without hesitation reached for a nearly identical red suitcase nearby. She grabbed it, turned away, then paused. Karen glanced back at Lisa. A strange hesitation flickered in her movements. She stared at Lisa's suitcase, then down at her own. And then, like clockwork, she whipped around, let go of the bag she'd taken, and grabbed Lisa's instead. Gasps filled the room. Lisa smirked. Well, would you look at that?" Karen went rigid. "Oh, that doesn't mean anything," she snapped. "I was just checking." The video continued playing. Karen held Lisa's suitcase, took a step away, and then stopped. She looked around. She eyed the approaching security officer, as if considering her next move. And then, her lips moved. The footage had no sound, but her words were unmistakable. "Thief." A collective murmur swept through the baggage claim area. People shook their heads, whispering. Lisa turned to Karen, arms crossed. "So, remind me again, how exactly did I steal your suitcase?" Karen's face twisted in desperation. "That footage is misleading," she sputtered. "She must have switched something. Maybe she distracted me." "Maybe." The second officer held up a hand. "Ma'am, we all just saw the footage. You knowingly took this woman's suitcase, and then accused her of stealing it." Karen breathed heavily, eyes darting around. Then, suddenly, she clutched her chest. "Oh my God, I think I'm having a panic attack." Lisa rolled her eyes. "Really? This is the performance you're going with?" Karen staggered back, hand to her forehead. "I need water. I need to sit down." Lisa had had enough. She stepped forward, voice sharp. "No. You don't get to play the victim now. Not after what you just did." Karen froze. Lisa continued. "You knew exactly what you were doing. You saw 2 identical suitcases, took mine, and then decided that the easiest way to cover your mistake was to accuse a black woman of stealing from you. Because you knew people would believe you." Karen's face drained of color. Lisa wasn't done. "You counted on the fact that no one would question you, that they'd assume I was guilty the second you pointed your finger. And you almost got away with it." Karen looked around, desperate for support. But the crowd wasn't on her side. One by one, heads shook disapprovingly. A voice called out from behind them. Typical Karen behavior. Karen whirled around. A group of passengers stood together, arms crossed, their expressions hard. People like you get away with this all the time, one woman muttered. A man added, and now the whole world is gonna see it. Karen blinked. What? Lisa gestured to a passenger a few feet away. A man holding his phone up recording. Karen's eyes went wide. Oh my God, stop filming me. Too late. Lisa folded her arms. Looks like you're the one caught stealing today, Karen. The security officer exhaled. Ma'am, you need to come with us. Karen whipped her head toward him. You're arresting me? The officer frowned. No, but you'll be escorted out of the airport for causing a disturbance. Karen looked like she wanted to argue, but then realization dawned. Her shoulders sagged. She had lost. Lisa turned away, finally ready to walk toward the exit. But then wait. Lisa paused. Karen's voice was sharp, frantic. This isn't over, she screeched. You have no idea who you're messing with. Lisa slowly turned back, brow raised. Karen's face twisted with fury. You think this is funny? You humiliated me. I will make sure you regret this. Lisa chuckled, shaking her head. Oh, Karen, she said, voice dripping with amusement. I don't need to do anything. The internet is about to take care of that for me. Karen's face crumbled as realization struck. Lisa gave her one last look, then turned on her heel and strode out. She didn't need revenge, because she knew by the time she reached home, the world would already be watching. Lisa walked through the terminal, suitcase rolling behind her. The confrontation with Karen still buzzed in her mind, but she felt no regret. She had won. But as she reached the escalator leading to the airport exit, her phone vibrated. A lot. Lisa frowned and pulled it from her bag. Her notifications were going wild. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, hundreds of alerts. She clicked on one. A tweet appeared at the top of her feed. Karen falsely accuses a black woman of theft and gets caught on camera. You won't believe how fast she switches to playing the victim. Watch this. Lisa's breath hitched. A video was attached. She tapped play. The footage was crystal clear. Someone had filmed the entire encounter from the moment Karen started screaming thief to the second she was escorted away. The camera had caught every lie, every excuse, and every moment Karen unraveled. The clip was already at 200,000 views. Lisa scrolled down. The replies were brutal. She really thought she could get away with this. Wild. Imagine casually ruining someone's life with a fake accusation and walking away like it's nothing. Karen lies trending in 5 for 3. Lisa chuckled under her breath. Karen had wanted attention. Now she was getting it. Her phone rang. It was her best friend, Tasha. Lisa answered, already smirking. Hey girl, you see this? Tasha didn't even say hello. Lisa, you are all over the internet. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, girl, you're famous. Lisa laughed. I'm not famous. But Karen? She's about to be. Tasha's voice crackled with excitement. They're calling her Luggage Karen. And oh my God, the memes. Lisa clicked a link Tasha sent her. A GIF looped on screen. Karen's face frozen mid-scream. Captioned, when you steal but still want to play the victim. Lisa burst out laughing. Damn, the internet works fast. Tasha sighed dramatically. Girl, you don't even know. They found her Instagram already. Lisa stopped laughing. Wait, what? Tasha, Yep. And her LinkedIn. And guess what? Lisa's stomach twisted. She had seen this happen before. When the internet decided to punish someone, it didn't hold back. She works for some high-end real estate firm, Tasha continued, and they're getting flooded with complaints. Lisa clicked on a new post. Is this a you hire? A racist who falsely accuses innocent black women at the airport? Do better. The company's Instagram was on fire. Hundreds of people. "We're calling for Karen to be fired." Lisa exhaled. "I didn't want this to turn into a witch hunt." Tasha snorted. "Lisa, she did this to herself." Lisa bit her lip. It was true. Karen had played the game and lost. Karen sat in her car, hands shaking, phone vibrating nonstop. She had barely made it out of the airport before the storm hit. Her boss had called. Then her coworkers. Now her email inbox was exploding. She opened Twitter and nearly dropped her phone. Luggage Karen was trending worldwide. She clicked on a post. "Watch this racist liar try to ruin a black woman's life." Caught in 4K. The video had already hit 1 million views. Karen's breath came in short gasps. No, 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 this wasn't supposed to happen. She had control. She was the victim. Right? But no one saw it that way. The comments were brutal. "How do you ruin your life at baggage claim?" "She faked a panic attack." LMAO. A classic. "Somebody check if she still has a job." "I bet she doesn't." Karen's heart plummeted. Her phone rang her boss. She hesitated, but knew she had no choice. "Hello?" His voice was ice. "Karen, what the hell is going on?" Karen swallowed hard. "It's not what it looks like. I don't care. I have a PR disaster on my hands. Clients are threatening to walk. The company is all over social media." Karen closed her eyes. "I can fix this." "No, you can't." A long pause. Then, the words that sealed her fate. "You're fired, Karen." A cold wave of shock rushed through her. "No, wait, please." Click. The line went dead. Karen stared at the phone. It was over. She had lost everything. Her job. Her reputation. And the worst part? She had done it to herself. Lisa stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air. Her phone rang again, her boss. She tensed. "What now?" "Lisa," the voice on the other end said. "We saw what happened." Lisa sighed. "Look, I didn't mean for this to turn into a hole. You handled yourself with grace. We're impressed." Lisa's eyebrows shot up. "Wait. What?" "We've been discussing a promotion for a while," her boss continued. "And after seeing how you handled that situation, we think you'd be a great fit for a leadership role." Lisa's jaw nearly dropped. "Are you serious? Meet us Monday morning. Let's talk." Lisa hung up stunned. Somehow, this nightmare had led her to something good. She turned to see a flight attendant approaching. "Ms. Carter." Lisa nodded. "We've located your actual luggage. It's being sent directly to your home." Lisa grinned. "Figures. Took all this for my suitcase to show up." The attendant chuckled. "Safe travels, ma'am." Lisa exhaled. She had come to the airport expecting just another routine trip. Instead, she had witnessed karma in real time. And as she walked toward her ride, she smiled. Because for once, justice had actually won. Karen sat in the driver's seat of her car, gripping the wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her phone buzzed relentlessly, texts, calls, emails, all screaming the same thing. She had lost. Lost her job. Lost her reputation. Lost control. And all because of that woman. Karen's teeth clenched as she stared at her reflection in the rearview mirror. Her perfectly styled bob was now frizzy with stress. Her mascara had smudged. The confident, put-together professional woman she had been just 2 hours ago was gone, replaced by a public disgrace. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from an unknown number. "Hey, Karen, hope you enjoy unemployment. LOL." Karen's stomach twisted. Strangers were harassing her now. She scrolled through Twitter, heart pounding. Luggage Karen was still trending. A new headline had emerged. Racist Karen loses job after viral airport meltdown. Below it, her former company had issued a statement. "We do not condone discrimination in any form. Effective immediately, Karen Johnson is no longer employed with our firm." Karen felt sick. They hadn't even given her a chance to explain. Her pulse pounded in her ears. This wasn't fair. This wasn't supposed to happen. People were calling her a Racist. They were treating her like some kind of criminal. But she hadn't done anything wrong, had she? Karen inhaled sharply. No. She refused to go down like this. With trembling hands, she opened Facebook and began typing. Sitting in the back seat of her Uber, she scrolled through her phone, reading messages from friends and coworkers. You were incredible, Lisa. Finally, justice served in real time. You kept your cool like a pro. Proud of you. Lisa sighed, staring out the window. It was over, or at least it should have been. She hadn't checked Karen's social media yet. Frankly, she didn't care what Karen had to say. The world had already decided. Lisa put her phone down and leaned back, eyes closed. She had just started to relax when her phone vibrated again. She groaned. More notifications? But this time, something was different. A text from Tasha popped up. Girl, check Facebook. Now. Lisa hesitated. Then, curiosity got the better of her. She unlocked her phone and opened Facebook. At the top of her feed was a long post from Karen Johnson. Lisa's stomach sank. Oh no. To everyone attacking me online, let me tell my side of the story. Today, I was falsely portrayed as a villain in a viral video. But what people don't see is the truth. I was simply trying to claim my luggage when a misunderstanding occurred. I was confused, overwhelmed, and afraid. I never intended to hurt anyone. But instead of being given a chance to explain, I was publicly shamed, harassed, and ultimately fired from my job. This is cancel culture at its worst. I have worked my entire life to build my career, and now it's all gone because of one mistake. I'm not a racist. I'm a human being who made an honest mistake. I'm asking for kindness, for understanding, and for my life back. Please let me move on. Lisa stared at the screen, heart hammering. Unbelievable. Karen had flipped the script. No mention of her lies. No acknowledgement of the false accusation. No apology. Just pity-baiting and deflection. Lisa clenched her jaw as she scrolled through the comments. The responses were split. Some people weren't buying it. You weren't confused, Karen. You flat out lied. You knew what you were doing. Now you want to cry cancel culture? Apologize. Fully. Or sit in the mess you made. But others were defending her. People make mistakes. Why ruin her whole life over this? So now we destroy someone's career over a luggage mix-up? This is too much. She lost her job. Isn't that punishment enough? Lisa's breath came out shaky. She had won the battle at the airport. But the war? That was still being fought. She exhaled, closing her eyes for a moment. Was it worth responding? Would she be feeding the fire by saying anything? Her thoughts were interrupted by another text from Tasha. Lisa. She's not stopping there. She just booked an interview. Primetime news. Lisa's eyes flew open. Karen was going to the media. Lisa sat up straight. This fight wasn't over. Not even close. Lisa sat on her couch, scrolling through her phone, eyes flicking from one notification to the next. Karen's Facebook post had already gained traction. Thousands of shares. Tens of thousands of comments. And now, the worst part, she was going on national television. Lisa's stomach twisted. She knew exactly what was about to happen. Karen wasn't going to apologize. She wasn't going to take responsibility. She was going to play the victim. Lisa exhaled sharply, rubbing her temples. Her phone buzzed. It was Tasha. Girl, tell me you're watching this. Lisa hesitated. Did she even want to? But before she could respond, Tasha sent a link. Lisa sighed, clicked it, and just like that, Karen's face filled the screen. The segment aired on a major news network titled, Woman Canceled After Luggage Dispute Speaks Out. Is Social Media Justice Out of Control? Karen sat across from a well-known anchor, her expression carefully composed. Her blonde bob was sleek, her makeup flawless, but her eyes were red-rimmed, like she had spent the morning crying. Lisa scoffed. Of course. The interviewer folded his hands. Karen, let's start with the obvious. Millions of people have seen the viral video of you at the airport. Can you tell us, in your own words, what happened that day? Karen let out a deep, shaky breath. It was a misunderstanding, she said, voice quivering. A horrible, horrible misunderstanding. Lisa gritted her teeth. I was exhausted from traveling, Karen continued. I grabbed the wrong suitcase, and when I realized my mistake, I panicked. Lisa's eyebrows shot up. Panic? That's her excuse? I never meant to accuse anyone falsely, Karen added, blinking rapidly. I was just scared. Airports are chaotic. People take things all the time. I reacted poorly, and I regret it deeply. The interviewer nodded. But some would say your reaction wasn't just panic, that it was racial bias, that you assumed guilt based on the color of her skin. What do you say to that? Karen's face crumbled. That's not who I am, she gasped. Her voice cracked perfectly, the kind of tremble that made audiences lean in. Lisa clenched her jaw. This woman was good. Karen shook her head, wiping at a single tear. I have friends of all backgrounds. I was raised to treat everyone equally. But now, because of one moment, my entire life is ruined. The interviewer tilted his head. Speaking of that, you lost your job after the video went viral. Do you think that was fair? Karen sighed dramatically. I don't know how we got to this place, where one mistake means you lose everything. She looked straight at the camera, voice thick with emotion. I've received death threats. My family is terrified. I can't even leave my house without being recognized. I am being punished for something I didn't even mean to do. Lisa felt her blood boil. This was beyond manipulation. The interviewer nodded solemnly. Karen, if Lisa Carter were watching this right now, what would you say to her? Karen exhaled slowly, clasping her hands together like she was about to pray. Lisa, if you're watching this, I am sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I wish I could take it back. And I truly hope, that one day you can forgive me. Lisa nearly threw her phone across the room. Within minutes, Twitter exploded. Karen cries on cue starts trending. Notice how she never actually takes responsibility. She didn't make a mistake. She weaponized racism, and now she's playing dumb. But then a different side of Twitter emerged. She lost her job. Isn't that enough? People overreact. Should we really ruin someone's life over this? Everyone deserves a second chance. Lisa scrolled through the chaos, heart pounding. This wasn't just about Karen anymore. This was about how the world viewed justice. Who deserved it? Who didn't? Lisa tossed her phone onto the couch, exhaling sharply. She needed to respond. Not because she wanted revenge, but because she refused to let Karen rewrite history. Lisa opened Twitter, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then, with one deep breath, she began to type. Let's be clear. Karen didn't panic. She accused me because she knew the system would protect her. She lied. Then she doubled down. And now, she's crying on TV instead of taking responsibility. I don't accept her apology, because she never truly gave one. She hit send. Her tweet blew up instantly. Lisa leaned back, watching as the world reacted in real time. Yes, Lisa. She's trying to gaslight the whole country. Karen really thought she could get away with it, huh? Within an hour, Lisa was invited to speak on television. A chance to tell the truth. On her terms. She stared at the message, pulse racing. Did she want to do this? Did she want to stand in front of millions of people and relive it all? Lisa exhaled. Yes. Because for too long, people like Karen had controlled the narrative. Not this time. Lisa picked up her phone and typed a reply. I'll do it. Let's talk. Her phone dinged again. A new headline flashed across her screen. Lisa Carter speaks out the other side of the story. Lisa smiled. Now, the world would finally hear the truth. The studio lights blazed overhead, hot and unrelenting. The cameras were already rolling, capturing every breath, every shift in posture. Lisa sat across from the host, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She had spent the entire morning preparing, running through every possible question, every angle the media might take. But nothing could have prepared her for this. Because sitting just 5 feet away was Karen. Lisa had been told it would be a solo interview, a chance to share her side of the story. Yet at the last minute, the producers had thrown in a twist. They had invited Karen to join. Lisa clenched her jaw. Of course. They wanted a spectacle. Across from her, Karen sat rigid, lips pressed into a thin, carefully controlled line. Her eyes flicked toward Lisa just for a second before darting away. Lisa knew that look. Karen was playing defense. The host, a polished woman in a navy blazer, smiled warmly at the camera. Good evening and welcome. Tonight, we're discussing the viral video that's taken over the internet, a moment at JFK Airport that has sparked national debate about race, privilege, and accountability. Joining me are the two women at the center of it all, Lisa Carter and Karen Johnson. Lisa inhaled slowly. Stay calm. Stay sharp. The host turned to Lisa first. Lisa, let's start with you. The video shows a clear moment of confrontation between you and Karen. Can you tell us, in your own words, what happened? Lisa met the host's gaze and spoke with measured clarity. I arrived at the baggage claim like everyone else. I saw my suitcase and picked it up. Then, out of nowhere, Karen started yelling, accusing me of theft. The host nodded. And at that moment, what was going through your mind? Lisa tilted her head slightly. Honestly, I was stunned, but not surprised. Because this wasn't just about luggage. This was about something deeper, something that happens to people who look like me all the time. Karen shifted uncomfortably. The host turned to her. Karen, what's your response to that? Karen took a deep breath, shoulders rising and falling dramatically. I panicked, she said, voice trembling. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was exhausted from traveling, and when I saw Lisa with a bag that looked exactly like mine, I reacted without thinking. Lisa clenched her fists beneath the table. There it was again, that same carefully crafted excuse. The host pressed further. But Karen, the surveillance footage shows that you had already grabbed a different suitcase, first one that wasn't Lisa's. And then you put it back and took hers instead. Why? Karen hesitated, her expression faltering for just a second. Lisa watched as her mind scrambled for an answer. Finally, Karen exhaled. I don't remember doing that. Lisa let out a sharp laugh. The host turned to her. Lisa? Lisa leaned forward slightly, voice firm. She doesn't remember doing that? That's convenient. Because the footage is crystal clear. Karen bristled. Are you saying I did it on purpose? Lisa's eyes locked onto hers. I'm saying you knew exactly what you were doing the second you realized that accusing me would be easier than admitting you made a mistake. Karen's face flushed red. That's not true. The host cut in. Karen, many people feel that your reaction wasn't just a mistake, but rather an example of racial bias at play. Do you acknowledge that? Karen's lips pressed into a tight line. Lisa watched, waiting. This was the moment of truth. But then Karen did something unexpected. She turned toward Lisa. Eyes wide, voice soft. Lisa, I am so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Lisa blinked. What? Karen kept going, voice trembling just enough to sound authentic. I've lost everything because of this. My job, my reputation, my life is ruined. And if I could take it back, I would. But I can't. All I can do now is ask for forgiveness. Lisa's jaw tightened. She recognized this move. It wasn't an apology. It was a performance. A last-ditch effort to rebuild her image right here, in front of millions. The host turned back to Lisa. Lisa, do you accept Karen's apology? The studio fell silent. Lisa knew that this was the moment the world would remember. And so, she chose her words carefully. She turned to Karen, staring her down. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry for what it cost you. Karen's face froze. Lisa continued. You lost your job, your reputation, your comfort. And now you want me to absolve you so that you can move on. But I don't owe you that. Karen's mouth opened and closed, stunned. Lisa took a deep breath. You're not the victim here, Karen. You never were. The host let the silence stretch for a moment. Then, finally, she turned to the camera. We'll be right back after the break. The second the red light turned off, Karen stood abruptly, her face livid. You set me up, she hissed at Lisa. Lisa stood too, unfazed. No, Karen. You did that to yourself. Karen's breath was shaky, her eyes darting toward the producers. She had lost. Again. Lisa turned and walked off the stage, shoulders squared. This time, she wasn't just walking away from Karen. She was walking away from the whole damn narrative. Lisa walked out of the television studio, the night air cool against her skin. Her heart was still racing, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She had done it. She had stood her ground, called Karen out, and refused to let herself be used as a prop for Karen's redemption tour. But the battle wasn't over. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Notifications flooded in. Lisa hesitated, then glanced at the screen. Twitter was on fire. Lisa Carter Speaks is trending at #1 worldwide. She clicked on a post. Lisa Carter just gave the most powerful response on live TV. She didn't let Karen manipulate the narrative. Iconic. The way Lisa shut that fake apology down? Beautiful. Poetic. Justice. Lisa Carter proved why we need to keep calling this stuff out. Karen wasn't sorry, she was just sorry she got caught. Lisa let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. The world was finally seeing the truth. But not everyone was on her side. As she scrolled, she saw the backlash forming. She should have just accepted the apology. Why ruin someone's life over a mistake? This cancel culture nonsense needs to stop. What do you want from Karen? Blood. Lisa got her justice. Why is she still so angry? Lisa clenched her jaw. Angry. That word again. Anytime a black woman refused to bow, refused to soften her truth, refused to be the bigger person, she was called angry. But she wasn't angry. She was done. Lisa exhaled, shaking off the noise. She had spent her whole life fighting to be heard, and for once, people were actually listening. She was about to put her phone away when a new notification popped up. Karen had posted a video. Lisa's stomach turned. Oh, here we go. She clicked the link. The video opened with Karen sitting in her living room, soft lighting, minimal makeup, a carefully staged backdrop of family photos. Lisa immediately recognized the setup. Karen wasn't just speaking to the public. She was pleading for sympathy. I want to speak from my heart, Karen began, her voice trembling. I never expected my life to spiral out of control like this. I never meant to hurt anyone. I never wanted to be seen as a racist. Lisa sighed. Here we go. Karen continued. But I've received death threats. My children have been harassed at school. My husband lost a major business deal because of all this. Lisa narrowed her eyes. Karen wasn't taking responsibility. She was painting herself as the ultimate victim. And then came the worst part. I'm asking for grace, Karen said, her voice thick with emotion. Not just for me, but for my family, for my children. Please let me move on. Lisa's stomach twisted. Karen was smart. She knew how to play the game. By shifting the focus to her family, she was making it seem like Lisa was the villain for refusing to forgive. Lisa's jaw clenched as she scrolled through the comments. Some people were eating it up. She's suffered enough. Let it go. At the end of the day, she's a mother. Think about her kids. Maybe she messed up, but this is too much. Time to move on. Lisa closed the video, tossing her phone onto the couch. Tasha's text popped up almost instantly. Lisa, do not respond. That's what she wants. Lisa exhaled sharply. She knew Tasha was right. If she responded, it would only fuel Karen's victim narrative. Make it look like Lisa was bullying a helpless woman. But staying silent? That felt like letting Karen win. Lisa needed a way to end this. For good. Lisa sat at her desk, took a deep breath, and hit record. I wasn't going to respond to Karen's latest video. But then I realized something. She looked straight into the camera. Karen isn't asking for forgiveness. She's asking for silence. She wants people to forget what she did. Lisa leaned forward. She wants you to believe that she's the victim, that she's the one suffering. But let's remember what actually happened. She held up her phone, playing the original viral video. Karen screaming thief. Lisa being detained. The surveillance footage proving Karen had lied. Lisa turned back to the camera. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a choice. And now, she's facing the consequences of that choice. She took a slow breath. I don't wish harm on Karen. I don't want her family to suffer. But let's be clear, Karen is not the victim here. And I will not apologize for telling the truth. Lisa hit post. Within minutes, her video exploded. Lisa Carter just shut it down. No more Karen pity parties. Karen wanted grace. Lisa gave her truth. Actions have consequences. Lisa didn't ruin Karen's life, Karen did. And then, the ultimate moment, Karen's company issued a new statement. Due to ongoing controversy, Karen Johnson will not be returning to our firm in any capacity. We stand against discrimination in all forms. Lisa let out a long breath. It was over. For real this time. She looked out her window, the city lights twinkling in the distance. She hadn't just fought for herself. She had fought for every person who had ever been falsely accused. For every black woman who had been labeled aggressive for standing up for herself. For every person who had been told to just let it go. Lisa picked up her phone. A new message from her boss. Lisa, we need to talk about your future. Call me tomorrow. Lisa smiled. The future. For the first time in days, she felt like she finally had won. Lisa woke up to the sound of her phone vibrating against the nightstand. For the first time in days, she had actually slept. Deeply. Peacefully. She stretched, blinking at the morning light streaming through her window. The storm had finally settled. Karen was out of the spotlight. Lisa had spoken her truth. The world had listened. And now it was time to move forward. She grabbed her phone and checked the screen. A missed call from her boss. Her heart skipped a beat. She sat up, rubbing the sleep from her eyes before hitting redial. The call rang once before a familiar voice picked up. Lisa, good morning. Morning, she said, voice still groggy. You wanted to talk? Her boss hesitated for only a second. Yes. First off, let me say how impressed we all are with how you handled everything. The way you carried yourself, the way you refused to be silenced, you showed leadership in a way that can't be taught. Lisa's stomach flipped. Where was this going? I won't lie, Lisa, he continued. Your name is everywhere. People are paying attention to you. And we think it's time we acknowledge what's been obvious for a while. You're more than ready for a leadership role. Lisa froze. Leadership role? She repeated. Yes, her boss said. We want to offer you a promotion. A management position. Effective immediately. Lisa blinked. This couldn't be real. A promotion? Now? After everything she had been through, after being falsely accused, after fighting for justice somehow. This had led to an opportunity. She felt a slow smile creep onto her face. I don't know what to say. Say yes, her boss chuckled. Take the weekend to think about it, but we'd love to have you in this role. Lisa exhaled, running a hand through her curls. I'll think about it, she said, but deep down, she already knew her answer. This wasn't just a job anymore. It was a platform. And for the first time, she saw how much power she actually had. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Karen sat hunched over her laptop, scrolling furiously. The pity video hadn't worked. Lisa's response had shut her down completely. Her old job had officially severed ties. Her family was ashamed. She had tried everything to regain control of the narrative. And yet, no one was listening to her anymore. She was a pariah. Karen clenched her fists, her nails digging into her palms. "This isn't fair," she whispered. She clicked on Lisa's latest tweet, reading the responses. People adored her. They saw her as a fighter, a hero. Karen's hands shook. Lisa had won. But maybe there was one last move left to play. Karen reached for her phone and made a call. "Hello? Yes, I'd like to book an exclusive interview. I have something to say that will change everything." That evening, Lisa met up with Tasha at their favorite cafe. "Girl," Tasha said, setting her iced latte down, "are you going to take the promotion?" Lisa stirred her tea, thinking. "I think so," she admitted. "But I also feel like maybe I can do more." Tasha tilted her head. "More?" Lisa nodded. "This whole situation made me realize how many people deal with this kind of thing every day, but never get justice. And most of them don't have a viral video to prove they were telling the truth." Tasha narrowed her eyes. "Wait a minute. Are you saying what I think you're saying?" Lisa grinned. "I want to do something bigger. I don't know what yet, but I want to help people. Make sure this kind of thing doesn't keep happening." Tasha snapped her fingers. "You should start a platform. A movement. Something where people can share their experiences, get support, and fight back." Lisa leaned back, considering it. A movement. The idea sent a thrill through her. Maybe this was her purpose. Her phone buzzed. A new headline flashed across her screen. "Karen Johnson to give a shocking new interview. Claims she has proof that will change everything." Lisa's stomach twisted. "What now?" Tasha leaned over, reading the headline. Her face darkened. "Oh, hell no." Lisa exhaled. She had thought this was over. But Karen wasn't done yet. Lisa picked up her phone and stared at the screen. She had two choices. She could ignore it, move on, focus on her future. Or she could be ready, because if Karen wanted one last battle, Lisa was going to make damn sure she lost it. Lisa sat in her apartment, her laptop opens on the coffee table, eyes locked on the screen. Across the internet, one headline dominated every major news site. "Karen Johnson to reveal shocking new evidence in exclusive interview. Claims the full truth hasn't been told." Lisa exhaled, pressing her fingers to her temples. She should have seen this coming. Karen had lost in the court of public opinion. She had been fired, exposed, rejected by the very system she had relied on to protect her. And now, in a final desperate attempt, she was trying to rewrite history. Lisa's phone buzzed with an incoming call. Tasha. Lisa picked up. "Tell me you're seeing this." "Seeing it?" "Girl, I'm ready to throw my phone across the room." What the hell could she possibly have to say now? Lisa sighed. "I don't know, but whatever it is, she's hoping it'll make her the victim again." Tasha huffed. "We should be past this. The world knows what she did. She can't undo that." Lisa wanted to believe that, but she also knew how easily people's perceptions could be manipulated. Karen didn't need to prove she was innocent. She just needed to create doubt. And doubt, Lisa knew, could be dangerous. She grabbed the remote and turned on the news. The live broadcast was about to begin. The camera zoomed in on Karen as she sat in a pristine, warmly lit studio, her posture carefully composed. She looked soft, vulnerable, nothing like the woman who had stood in the airport, accusing Lisa with fire in her eyes. The interviewer leaned forward, voice gentle. "Karen, let's start with the obvious. You've been at the center of one of the biggest social media controversies in recent memory. What made you decide to speak out now?" Karen sighed, shaking her head. "Because the truth hasn't been told." Lisa scoffed. "Here we go." Karen continued. "I've been vilified, labeled a racist. My entire life destroyed over one moment. But there's more to this story than people know. The interviewer tilted his head. Karen, are you saying the viral video was misleading? Karen nodded, looking directly into the camera. Yes. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. The interviewer's eyebrows rose. Can you explain? Karen clasped her hands together. I made mistakes. But what people don't know is that before that video started, I was approached by airport security. Lisa's stomach dropped. Karen continued. Someone had reported suspicious activity near the luggage carousel. Security came to me and told me to watch my belongings carefully. So when I saw Lisa taking a suitcase that looked like mine, I panicked. Lisa froze. What? That never happened. She had been at that carousel the entire time. No one ever approached Karen. Lisa grabbed her phone, fingers flying. She scrolled through Twitter, reading reactions in real time. People were buying it. Wait, so she was already on alert? That changes things. If security warned her first, maybe she really did just panic. We rushed to judgment. Maybe Lisa wasn't the only victim here. Lisa's chest tightened. This was the danger of doubt. Karen wasn't proving she was innocent. She was muddying the waters. And it was working. Lisa clenched her jaw. Enough. She pulled up her contacts and dialed. The next morning, Lisa walked into a different studio. This time, she was the one in the interview chair. The host wasted no time. Lisa, you saw Karen's interview. What is your response? Lisa leaned forward, voice steady. She's lying. The host's eyebrows lifted. You're certain? Lisa nodded. I was there. The entire time. No security officer ever spoke to Karen before that moment. There was no warning. No alert. She made that up. The host hesitated. Do you have proof? Lisa didn't break eye contact. Yes. And I brought it with me today. She turned to the producers, who nodded. The screen behind them lit up. Surveillance footage. But this time, the full version. Lisa had gotten the complete airport security recordings. And they showed everything. Karen had been alone. No security officer. No warning. Just her. Lisa watched as Karen, alone in the footage, spotted Lisa, hesitated, and then made a decision. A decision to lie. The audience gasped. The host turned to Lisa, eyes wide. This footage directly contradicts Karen's claims. Lisa nodded. Because Karen never wanted the truth. She just wanted control of the story. The host exhaled. So what happens now? Lisa paused. Then, she spoke the words that sealed everything. Nothing happens now. Because Karen is done. The internet erupted. Karen exposed trends instantly. She really tried it. And got caught again. Lisa said, and I took that personally and dropped the receipts. Karen's damage control failed instantly. Her interview was discredited. Her last shot at redemption? And, for the first time since this all started, Karen finally did something new. She disappeared. No more posts. No more statements. No more lies. She had played her final hand. And she had lost. Lisa turned off her phone, setting it aside. She had fought the battle. She had won. And now, she was finally free. For the first time in weeks, Lisa Carter woke up without the weight of battle pressing down on her chest. The war was over. Karen had vanished from public view. Her last, desperate attempt to rewrite history had failed spectacularly. The security footage had sealed her fate. And Lisa? Lisa had won. She exhaled deeply, stretching as she sat up in bed. No more waking up to new attacks. No more fighting to prove the truth. Her phone buzzed. She hesitated before picking it up, half expecting another headline, another controversy. But instead, it was a message from her boss. Lisa, we're officially announcing your promotion today. Welcome to leadership. You earned it. Lisa let out a breathless laugh. She had earned it. Not just the promotion, but her peace. She wasn't just the woman from the viral video anymore. She wasn't just someone who had been wronged. She was someone who had fought back and won. Despite Karen's public disappearance, her name still lingered in conversations. Lisa scrolled through the latest social media chatter. Justice for Lisa was still trending. So, Karen just went radio silent after getting exposed. Typical. They always run when they lose. Bet she's planning some redemption arc in a few months. Just watch. Lisa sighed. She had thought about this, too. Karen wasn't the type to accept defeat gracefully. Would she try to rebrand herself in a few months? Resurface on some podcast, talking about how she had been bullied by the internet? Maybe. But Lisa wasn't going to spend her life worrying about it, because Karen wasn't her problem anymore. Lisa set her phone down and smiled to herself. She had better things to do. That afternoon, Lisa met Tasha for lunch. "Okay, boss lady," Tasha teased, raising a glass of lemonade. "You're officially running things now. How does it feel?" Lisa chuckled, shaking her head. "Feels surreal. You deserve it, girl. And you didn't just get a promotion, you changed the whole damn conversation." Lisa paused. Had she? She had won her personal battle. But how many people had gone through the same thing without a viral video to back them up? How many people had been accused, doubted, and left without justice? Lisa set her drink down. "I think I want to do more." Tasha raised an eyebrow. "More?" Lisa nodded. "I don't just want to move on. I want to make sure this kind of thing stops happening." Tasha's eyes widened. "Oh, you're serious?" Lisa exhaled. "I don't know exactly what it looks like yet. Maybe a foundation, a legal fund, a platform where people can share their stories. But I know I can't just let this be another viral moment that fades away." Tasha grinned. "I love it. Lisa Carter, the woman who fought back, has a nice ring to it." Lisa rolled her eyes. "It's not about me, Tasha." "I know," Tasha said, "but people need someone to lead the fight. And whether you like it or not, girl, that's you." Lisa sat back, thinking. Maybe Tasha was right. Maybe this was bigger than just her. Maybe it was time to take this fight beyond the internet. That night, Lisa sat at her desk, staring at a blank screen. She had one last thing to say before closing this chapter. She opened Twitter and began typing. "To everyone who supported me, thank you. This wasn't just my fight, it was all of ours. Too many people go through every day and never get justice. I refuse to let this be just another viral story that fades away. It's time for change. Let's make it happen." Hashtag Justice for All. She hit send. Her notifications exploded instantly. Yes, this is what we need. Lisa is turning this moment into a movement. Let's go. We've got your back, Lisa. Always. Lisa exhaled, a sense of peace washing over her. This wasn't just about Karen anymore. This was about every person who had ever been silenced, every person who had ever been falsely accused, every person who had ever been told their truth didn't matter. Lisa Carter had fought for herself. Now, she was fighting for everyone. And this time, she wasn't alone. Lisa's story is proof that the truth always wins, but only when people are willing to stand up and fight for it. This wasn't just about one viral moment. It was about holding people accountable, refusing to let false narratives take over, and making sure justice is served. If you believe in standing up for what's right, if you believe in fighting back against injustice, then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. Now, we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments below. Let's see how far this message travels. Subscribe now, and let's make our voices heard together.